2 News begins right now with breaking news.
Right now at 5, a red flag fire warning for multiple Oklahoma counties. Warm and windy weather fueling flames across the Sooner State. 2 News has live team coverage for you tonight. 2 News reporter Joe Hinkie is live tonight where multiple fire crews are fighting a fire just north of the Tulsa area. And our Storm Shield chief meteorologist Brett Anthony is also tracking the flames from our weather center. We'll get to him in a moment. But we begin just north of Mounds, where this fire that is behind me has been going now for a little more than an hour. Let's begin by taking a look at this fence post right here. You can see that it's still smoldering and smoking right now, and there's some other limbs in the pasture there behind us that also are still on fire. You can see flames still shooting up there. I talked with the command post just a few minutes ago. They say so far no structures have been lost. At least a square mile, though, has been burned. They think that they are starting to get a handle on this fire now, but it's extremely windy. They say anything could happen. It's also extremely dry out here, and the embers could fly up, and this could kick up again. So this is a fire that we're going to be watching now for some time. Again, this one just north of the Mounds area. We have more team coverage for you with 2 News reporter Joe Hinkie. As we said, he's north of Tulsa. Joe, tell us about the fire that you're following.
Well, Russ, right now firefighters going around putting out a few final hot spots. Right here, Turley Fire and Rescue behind me just finished watering down this large pile of burned tires. We found out this was the reason for a lot of the thick black smoke people saw in this area today. And the reason, the fuel for all the fire out here today is this dry, extremely dry brush. You can maybe hear it if I put up by my mic here. Firefighters said this kept them busy today, and it will for some time. As several fire departments responded to a fire on this wooded piece of land north of Tulsa, they worked quickly to contain the flames.
About 3 acres engulfed in flames, rolling grass and brush fire.
Firefighters out here say this will be just the beginning of a busy fire season, given how dry the conditions are.
We're really expecting to have more than we usually do.
As they put out the final hot spots,
Fire is going to be contained.
Very good.
the smoke began to build just miles away as the largest fire of the day broke out. Richard Privet checking the damage to his neighbor's property after he spotted the fire.
And before I could even get a call made, it was already ripping down through here.
Tulsa Fire reports a quarter square mile burn, threatening houses and releasing a large cloud of smoke into the sky.
There was black smoke rolling plumb to my house, and I live almost half a mile over there.
Much of the smoke coming from this pile of burning tires.
Probably about 5-10 years worth of tires.
Russell Chenault owns the tires and this land. He says he also lost 2 trucks in the fire and the wood he would have used to build a new home.
Maybe $2,000 worth of lumber we was getting ready to start building the house back up there.
A future home which Chenault says will now have to wait. Now a few hours after the fire began out here, visibility is returning, but the thick, heavy smell of smoke remains. As I said, firefighters right now putting out a few final hot spots. We'll keep an eye on those for you and giving you an update coming up on 2 News at 6. Reporting live north of Tulsa tonight, Joe Hinkie, 2 News works for you.
All right, Joe, thanks. There's more breaking news right now out of Washington County. 8 agencies have been fighting grass fires south of Juan. Drivers are asked to avoid that area east of Highway 75 due to smoke blowing across the road. Of course, you always see those signs that say do not drive into smoke. The Highway Patrol was called in to help direct traffic on that one. Also, Ofuskie County crews keeping a close eye right now on hot spots after battling this grass fire. At least 800 acres were scorched yesterday and last night before crews were able to bring that one under control. It's the same area that is under a threat again this evening. And 2 Works for You Storm Shield Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony keeping an eye on all of this from the station. Brett, how's it look from there?
Storm Shield radar right now.
All right.
And what we're seeing here are some smoke plumes coming out of Washington County with the red fire or a high fire danger in effect until 6 o'clock tonight. So about another hour, then the winds will subside just a little bit. But that one near Juan, you can see that smoke plume that's quickly dissipating. And that's because the winds are so strong here this afternoon. Then we look down to the south and we've got a couple of ones out here by Turley. That one is quickly dissipating. Looks like another little plume trying to go up. We're tracking colder air that will come in tonight behind this cold front, and the temperatures will start to drop. Probably about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We'll watch the temperatures plummet. But until then, a clear and breezy evening with temperatures in the 60s. So we still have some fire concerns here up until maybe the evening hours as the relative humidities come up and the breezes start to come down a little bit. I'll have the rest of the Storm Shield forecast in just a few minutes.
Brett, thanks. So very dry out here, and it can cause a lot of problems, especially with this wind. Remember, you can track fires and any kind of weather that comes our way with our 2 Works For You Storm Shield app. It is available for Apple and Android devices. All right, even more breaking news happening at this hour. I want to check in with 2 News reporter Liz Bryant. She has details from there. Liz?
Well, Russ, just in the last 3 minutes, all of Tulsa firefighters, nearly all the Tulsa firefighters and hazmat teams have left here at Umicore Precious Metals. We are at the port of Catoosa. Let me summarize what just happened in the last hour. The plant manager tells me that his staff was transferring hydrochloric acid from a 55-gallon barrel to a storage tank when either a hose or the barrel sprang a leak and it spilled onto a 10 by 10 area. Now, to contain this acid, this hydrochloric acid, employees put down containment pillows so it wouldn't spread anymore. Then they called hazmat because it was just too big of a spill for them to fix by themselves. Fortunately, the plant manager tells me that no employees were hurt, everyone evacuated, and they will just start their day like usual tomorrow. Live at the Port of Catoosa, Liz Bryant, 2 News Works For You.
All right, Liz, thanks. We'll continue to follow that. Meantime, more breaking news now, and a story that we've been following. A 3rd arrest in yesterday's Tulsa hotel murder happened at the Super 8 motel near 31st and Memorial. Police arrested 27-year-old Kendrick Logan 1 hour ago. Police also released this surveillance photo just 30 minutes ago. Police are hoping that you can help identify this person in the pajama pants. Detectives are also looking for this man, 28-year-old Jerome Hardaway. 2 News anchor Stephen Romo joins us live now with an update to the breaking news that's been going on here in the last hour. What's the latest, Stephen?
Yeah, Russ, we're just getting this new information from police. They're releasing the name of that victim. He's 32-year-old Michael Jones. They say he has his own criminal record in Ohio and Idaho. Meanwhile, there were up to 5 suspects involved in this crime. The first arrest they made was a former Tulsa County Sheriff's deputy. Detectives say 4 men stood outside a room planning at the Super 8 in East Tulsa before they burst inside, shooting and killing the 32-year-old victim. It started when that victim allegedly met 27-year-old Pamela Taylor at a casino. Investigators say the pair then headed to the motel and started arguing.
People die between sex, money, vendettas, and drugs, and this one, there was a little bit of drugs there, and there was money, and there was sex involved.
Officers say Taylor called former Tulsa deputy 44-year-old Warren Crittenden and the other men who showed up before one of them pulled out the gun. Police say Taylor, Crittenden, and the 3 other unidentified suspects took off in separate cars. In an odd turn, investigators say Crittenden was in an unrelated traffic accident a couple hours later and started confessing his involvement.
That gentleman decided that he was going to take that opportunity to tell us about his involvement in this crime.
Both vehicles thought to be involved are now in police custody, as are Taylor and Crittenden, who face first-degree murder charges. The sheriff's office confirms Crittenden worked as a deputy for 16 years before he resigned in 2011.
Drug addiction does strange things to probably normally good people.
Now, if you have any information about what went on here at the Super 8, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number, 918-596-COPS. Reporting live in East Tulsa, Stephen Romo, 2 News Works For You.
All right, Stephen, thanks. There is new information now about a deadly fire at a Sapulpa motel. Investigators have now identified the victim. They say 57-year-old Terry Lamb from Bixby died Saturday in that fire at the Interstate Inn. Sapulpa police and the ATF are now on the lookout for a person of interest in the case. They believe 35-year-old Daniel Crew was in the room where that fire started. If you know where he is, call Sapulpa police or the ATF hotline number. That number is 888-ATF-TIPS. And another apparent link to the case surfaced Monday. Tulsa police arrested this man after they say he crashed an SUV into a house. Officers say that Jerry Newman had a jacket, backpack, and other items belonging to an ATF agent investigating the motel fire there in Sapulpa. All right, new at 5, there's some big news tonight from the U.S. Supreme Court. Justices ordering Oklahoma to postpone lethal executions using a controversial sedative until the court rules on a challenge that involves that drug. The court's order came as little surprise after both the state and lawyers for the 3 inmates who face execution between now and March requested the temporary halt. The justices, though, agreed Friday to take up the challenge to the use of the sedative midazolam, which could be used and has been used in executions in Arizona, Ohio, and Oklahoma. The case will be argued in April and then decided by late June. Left open, though, by the court's order is whether Oklahoma can carry out executions that do not involve that controversial sedative. Well, 2 Works for You anchor Karen Larson is following our traffic alert this evening. Karen, how's it looking on this Wednesday afternoon drive home?
Well, we've got quite a bit of a stop and go traffic all around the Midtown Tulsa and part of East Tulsa tonight as well. You can see that here at the I-44 split, right where it merges into 244, we definitely got that normal stop and go traffic that we see every day there. So watch out. But also a lot of stop and go, seeing this on the surface streets, which we don't normally see as much of this at this time of day. And if you'd like a complete look at your daily commute, watch 2 News Today each weekday morning starting at 5. All
right, Karen, thanks. New developments now in the search for a dinosaur statue missing in Bartlesville. The 9-foot T-Rex taken from outside a pet store has now been found. Unfortunately, he's not in good shape. 2 Works for You problem solver Jamil Donith joins us on why this is kind of a sad afternoon for the community. Jamil?
Well, right about where I'm standing is where this huge dinosaur used to live for about 10 years outside of the Classic Pet store here in Bartlesville. Now, when it went missing, that's when the owner decided to reach out to the community for help. And today, the police were able to locate it, but it wasn't the happy ending everyone was hoping for.
That's Mother's Day.
For nearly a decade, this dinosaur dressed to the nines has greeted customers outside of Classic Pets.
And he sort of did get a personality. It was sort of easygoing and put up with whatever we did.
Store owner Kelly Kime says the T-Rex became much more than a mascot. So when she noticed her prehistoric pet was missing Monday, the entire town chipped in to help.
People are actually sending me messages from their kids crying. It was very sad.
Those tips finally led police to a Hispanic grocery store in Tulsa, where the dino was found in a dumpster.
We've worked several other types of crimes, but this one here did have a lot of interest. There was a lot of people came forward.
Bummer. Bummer.
In pieces without a head.
I'm sick. That's just sad.
Police located the thief from the tags of his car. The young man confessed to the crime and told officers he wanted to make things right.
It is quite an odd case, but I wish we would have been a little bit more successful of maybe getting the thing back before they cut it up.
Not the ending Kime was hoping for, but she's keeping her sense of humor.
We might give him a temporary head in the meantime until we find the other one.
Now, there have been no arrests made yet, but police are submitting an affidavit to the district attorney. They said that the thief says that he will either replace the dinosaur or pay to have a new one. And also, the owner here says that she's been getting calls already from the community offering to donate. Live in Bartlesville, Jamil Donith, 2 News Works for You.
That was a pretty cute dinosaur. All right, Jamil, thanks. Right now, looking live at Super Bowl venue for Super Bowl Sunday, which of course is going to be right here on Channel 2. Coming up, we're going to talk security and what you can expect if you're headed to the big game. That's coming up in just a moment on 2 Works for You at 5.
And later tonight, our attention turns away from grass fires to colder air as the temperatures start dropping. We'll take a look at that timeline in your Storm Shield forecast.